Today's program is sponsored by The Anthony Vincent Salon. Say hello to beautiful.
Fashion, music, wellness.
And don't forget sex.
Mostly sex.
If it's trending, they'll be talking about it. Trend Radio is right here.
And right now, I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise.
And we always have something great to say.
Because it's us. So stay tuned.
You'll be glad you did. Oh, do we have such a good show today?
I'm sure we do.
Yes.
Because we always do.
Yeah. And you know what? You know what we're going to talk about?
What?
9 sexy reasons that will make all guys crave a curvy woman in the bedroom.
Okay, well, being a little curvy, I can understand why that would be a fun conversation.
That is really, really going to be a really hot subject.
I'm sure.
And because what do they say? Only a dog like a bone.
Yeah, I think curves rule.
Hey, did you know that during erection, a smaller flaccid penis tends to have a greater percentage of increase than a larger flaccid penis?
Wow. Okay, I didn't think about it because that wasn't really on my thought process. But okay, thinking about it now, I can understand how that could happen because the larger one just doesn't have much more to go. And the smaller one could just go more. So I guess, I don't know.
It's just like
I think I'm putting my foot in my mouth.
It's just like that saying, he's a shower, not a grower. Or he's a grower, not a shower.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay, well, all right. Tell us what that is.
Oh, that's it. He's a shower, not a grower.
Oh, okay. All right, then.
So...
All right, that all the fun facts you have for us today?
Well, no, I have one more.
You have another one?
For everyone out there on a diet.
Okay.
A teaspoon of semen contains approximately 5 calories.
Uh-huh. And a loaded amount of protein there. We've talked about that. We've actually established that.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you were paying attention.
It actually does have quite the bit of protein there.
Yes, it does.
And very low in fat and calories.
And quite a few vitamins and minerals.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're taking the specimen right out of the person. You're draining them.
Well, did you know...
Oh, boy, here we go again.
...that how you cuddle says a lot about your relationship?
I would think so.
Yeah,
It's
really?
kind of, yeah. I imagine how how you are when you're with who you love says a lot about, what you're doing and your relationship. I would absolutely agree with that.
They say that couples who spoon together stay together.
Oh.
Now, this is an interesting thing. I didn't know what spooning was.
Oh, yes, you did.
I thought I knew what it was.
Okay.
But I didn't.
Okay.
And
so why don't you give the actual definition then for spooning?
sleeping side by side, tucked together like 2 spoons in a drawer.
You see, you ask and you shall receive.
That's right. Now, that seems like the most romantic way to sleep. And experts say that the level of your spooniness says a lot about your relationship.
I would think that would, because the level of your spooniness, like you just said, also, that's very emotional too. And so it ties you in with your, the person that you're with. It ties you together, and you're literally feeling each other's hearts beating.
Oh, that is so romantic.
But it's true.
I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy.
Was that because you're just drinking right now?
No.
I know you are. I see you with the Scotch bottle sticking out of your bag.
I was
do.
thirsty.
Hey, you know what? I understand that. I'm thirsty too, but I don't have my Scotch bottle sticking out of my bag.
It's right here.
That's yours. Okay.
Well, 18% of couples report sleeping in this method. And in a survey, spooning is one of the most popular sleep positions, especially for women.
Oh, okay. Now, why especially for women and not necessarily especially for men?
Well, women are much softer.
Yes.
But,
we are.
oh yeah. and all of the different ways to spoon and all of these nighttime gymnastics may be good for your relationship, according to relationship psychologist Connie Sweet. She's a sweet young lady.
Yeah.
According to her latest research, couples who spoon together stay together.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, she explained that one partner takes a protective stance over the other, and it leads...
Oh, how nice.
That's
okay,
right.
so then typically, well, I guess it would depend on the relationship of the people, but I mean that depending on where the man or the woman is and who wants to be the protector that evening, but I guess that would be a very safe feeling and secure and create a lot of closeness together.
That's right. It assures an attachment to each other.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very important. I think it's important to not be attached to material things, but emotionally, it's nice to have an attachment with somebody.
That's right. And, people who enjoy spooning are really comfortable with the intimacy they share.
Oh, I can absolutely see that. I could absolutely see that. It's very interesting. I have a client that I was discussing this with because she's currently having she's currently going through a divorce, and part of the feeling is they just grew apart and their lives became very busy, and they stopped caring about sleeping at the same time, sleeping together in the same bed. One or the other would fall asleep on the couch while they're working, and they became distant. And it's so key to be emotionally sound with your partner and to share, especially while you're sleeping. Even if you're sleeping. I know you're not talking, but you're sharing in each other's warmth and company.
That's right.
And you're holding each other.
Yeah.
And that's so
what
important.
Jane Greer says. Jane Greer,
she does?
yeah, she's a PhD and a marriage and family therapist. And what you're saying and what she says is these couples literally want to hold on together throughout the night, making them feel safe and secure by touching each other and staying connected.
The connection is huge. Staying connected to the person that you love, or actually staying connected to anyone, is, I think, key in any relationship. It's important, very important to stay connected.
That's right. That's right. And it's that closeness, both physically and emotionally, that gives that side-by-side spooning like a real benefit. It's an increased intimacy, and it's actually a very vulnerable position that's sexual. Easy access.
Yeah, it is. But, then you also have to have the level of trust with who you're with, with your partner, because here's the thing. You're going to sleep, and that's what you need. And you need to have your sleep. We've established throughout our conversations that sleep is imperative to your well-being. So you want to be able to be in a position that's close and intimate, but not necessarily, you can have, sex if that's where it leads, but you want to be able to also trust the person that you're with, that it might not be the time for sex. It might just be the time for intimacy.
Sometimes you can't help yourself. You're laying there, intimacy, you're like two spoons in a drawer, and as I said, you have that easy access. You just can't help it.
Yes, that is true. But at the same time, it's midnight. You have to be up at 6 o'clock for a meeting, and you need to have your sleep too. And it's nice that you can share some sort of intimacy without necessarily it being sexual.
Well, that's true. And couples who cuddle, they're really less likely to be harboring a resentment or any anger toward their partner, and therefore they're more likely to sleep sounder.
Now that is true. You never want to go to sleep angry, and if you're actually
many people do
sleeping with your partner and touching and cuddling, that makes for a much better sleep and a much better relationship.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Easy access. There is more than one way to spoon.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And, and each thing says something different about your relationship.
Okay, well, what are the different ways?
Okay. There's the tight, snug spoon.
Okay.
And that signifies a very close, newer relationship.
Okay, a newer one. Why
a
is
newer
that?
relationship, because you're tight, you're snug, you're close. You know, you don't want to let that go. Now, the more relaxed, loose spoon is said to show a deeper, more mature relationship.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, similar to what happens to your real spoons in the drawer. You know, when they've been used to scoop out the ice cream one too many times, they fell on the floor, they banged up, they're scratched. You know, they've seen a lot of life, and so each have their own quirky little bends and kinks. You know,
Yes.
you know what I'm talking
I
about.
get it. I completely understand.
Yeah. So then there's the super spoon.
Okay. The super spoon.
You said it wrong. The super spoon.
Oh, okay.
That's
I'll have to
where.
practice saying that.
Give it one more try.
The super spoon.
Not the super spoon. It's not soup or spoon.
Okay. All right. You know what? I don't need to say it again. Just go.
Alrighty. Then the super spoon. That's where the big spoon throws his leg over the top of the little spoon, thereby flattening her into something more like a spatula.
Okay.
And this provides and showing security, protection, guidance, and dominance.
Got it.
Need a salon that's about the whole you? Precision haircuts, flawless makeup, impeccable nails, top-rated professional hair products. Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for a hairstylist who has his finger on the pulse of all the latest trends? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for a dependable salon with over 35 years in the industry? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for New York City and internationally trained stylists that will create the perfect look for you? Anthony Vincent Salon. Shine brightly while walking down the aisle. Anthony Vincent Salon. For longer, thicker, beautiful hair extensions, Anthony Vincent Salon. Incredible makeup applications for weddings, proms, or any special occasions. Anthony Vincent Salon. Have dry, brittle summer hair? Get a hot shot. Anthony Vincent Salon. Before you put a ring on it, manicure it. Anthony Vincent Salon. Your image is their specialty. For the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Anthony Vincent Salon. For a more beautiful you, call now 609-448-2212 and follow them on Twitter.
So, why is it that good girls are obsessed with bad boys?
Oh my gosh, this has been going on forever.
Yeah.
There are songs about it. Gwen Stefani even has a really good one. It's from one of her older albums. But anyway, you know, she says right in there, why do the good girls always want the bad boys? Well, that's
I like the way she says that.
Yeah, that was the way I just said that. So
I like the way you said it then.
okay, well, but it's true. And I think it's more than, being about opposites attracting. You know, I don't think it's really even so much about that.
That's right. It's a lot more than just the opposites attract.
It's way deeper than that. That good girl just wants that wild ride. You know, she wants somebody to take control. She wants that intensity.
Yeah.
And also the idea that she can control and fix this guy.
Oh, yeah.
She wants to fix him.
You're amazing. You know, I've been out of the dating world for a while, but I have noticed that it's a universal phenomenon that with the bad boys and the good girls seem to naturally be attracted to each other.
Absolutely. But she thinks she's going to be able to fix him. And the truth of the matter is that she's never going to be able to. You cannot change somebody. When you're bad that way, you're drawn that way.
The bone.
You're drawn that way. You stay that way.
And you know what a common misconception is that the bad boy, the guy with an obvious wild side, is somehow manipulating the good girl and creating a fictional, therefore attractive dating relationship.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Nobody is to blame here.
That's right.
Nobody has control of it either. Nobody has control of it. It's just something that just happens. It's amazing.
Yeah, and the girl actively seeks out her bad boy counterpart. And she may be even unaware that she needs to be in a relationship with someone with a different personality other than herself.
You know what's so interesting? I was speaking with one of my younger clients, and she was telling me about a date she went on, and she's like, he's so nice. And I'm like, oh, that's so great. She's like, yeah, he's like too nice.
I hate that. I hear that all the time.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, gosh. She's like, yeah, anything you want, whatever you say. Yeah, I'll do anything that. And you know what? I have to tell you something. There is nothing more fabulous than having somebody who you certainly want balance. Let me just put that there. You certainly want balance, but having somebody who's nice to you and respectful of you, you can't replace that.
And I think those type of guys are more successful with a woman who is in a more mature relationship.
No, I understand that. Listen, everybody wants excitement. And these good girls think that they're going to get the excitement from a bad guy or a wild guy. Yes, they do. But you can get excitement from, the good guy too. You absolutely can. They're not, you have to be able to create the excitement together. That's the thing. To have somebody in your life that's not respectful of you and not going to take care of you when you need him to or her to, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you're amazing. You know these things naturally. You do. I go through the studies and I learn, but you just innately know this stuff. Like many women come from a family where their fathers were unavailable to them emotionally, and the women attempt to recreate that same distant relationship in her own life.
Yes.
With an attempt to fix the emotional distance.
Yes. If they actually find these girls who look for these kinds of relationships, if they actually go within themselves and find out what it is that is drawing them to that, they will absolutely be able to quote unquote fix themselves and then get into a healthy relationship. That's really key. So if you find yourself looking for somebody who's not emotionally there, there's a reason for that. You're trying to fix something within yourself.
Mm-hmm. And you think that fixing him will do the job.
But that's not going to happen.
No.
It's going to end up in a lot of crazy.
Oh yeah.
A lot of emotional crazy is going to be happening there.
And
bitterness happens with that, ladies.
Always.
Then you become bitter and you become old little frumpy hags. Nobody wants that. And that's what happens. No, but that's what happens.
Wow.
I've seen that happen. That term cat lady? Just because I have a bunch of cats doesn't mean that I'm going to be that term of cat lady. You know the term I'm talking about.
I do.
You know the type I'm talking about too.
Everybody wants somebody who's familiar, and everybody's attracted to personality types that are familiar to them, even if they're not positive, types.
Sure.
Everyone is attracted to a personality type that is familiar, even if it's not a positive type. And, this means that women who have a father who was a bad boy and a disaster as a husband is going to be attracted to the exact same trait and characteristics in their own partners. We've seen over and over again battered women. If they were battered by their parents, they seek out a man who batters them. If their parents were alcoholics, they become alcoholics.
Emotionally, they're drawn to what they feel.
What they feel and what they're comfortable with.
Exactly.
That's familiar to them.
Well, that is what's familiar because that's what they're feeling and that's what they know. And that's why it's so crucial when you see yourself, if you see yourself going for that type of relationship, and it keeps failing time after time after time, you have to wonder why. And that's where you have to go inside yourself. Always go inside yourself anyway, though. Figure out what it is that you want, why you want it, and then, work on coming up with a plan to emotionally fix that.
Yeah, you find yourself with what you're talking about there is the definition of insanity.
Yeah, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Do you know how many times people do that? Do you know how many times I do that?
Yes, I know.
No, that's the truth.
I've tried to make sure that you always have your medicine available. I go to the
Well, thank you so much.
to the corner drug guy to get you what you need.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know, for some women, choosing a guy who's a complete opposite and offers a change of pace, a new adventure, and even a little bit of risk is a big attraction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Risk factor. Oh, very high. Very, very high attraction level. Be careful with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
it can be fun, though.
Yes, it can be fun. It can be dangerous and very fun and very scary at sometimes, too.
You know, a lot of these good girls go into relationships with guys who are on the wild side is the drive to rescue or salvage what she may see as a troubled soul.
See, now I just said that before.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what's true.
You know, in reality, and we talk about this, it is changing a personality is impossible.
Absolutely. And you know what, though? The thing is that the only way a personality of somebody that you can change somebody else, honestly, is if they're willing to change and they're willing to see that there is a need for that.
That's right. That will keep the relationship healthy.
If they see that there's a need to change and they're willing to do it. Otherwise, don't waste your time, because if they're not going to do it, you can't do it. You can't change somebody for them. You can't fix somebody.
That's right.
They have to fix themselves.
Yes,
and
they
that's
do.
the truth. And you have to wonder, why you're in that situation yourself, and you have to, work on that too, because that's where it's about. That's what it's about. Being able to, take control over what you are doing. You can't control somebody else, only yourself.
That's right. So, in the meantime, ladies, enjoy your time with us bad boys and have fun.
Notice how he put himself right in that category. Mm-hmm.
Have fun. Enjoy the wild sex until you're ready to settle down. And then go find yourself a nice guy.
Still be wild. You can still have wild after settling down. Oh, God.
I'm Anthony Vincent of Anthony Vincent Salon. Time for another fun and fabulous beauty tip with our tip chick. And here she is.
Got dry and brittle? Squeeze a little protein pomade into that parched mane. Say hello to beautiful.
Want your beauty question answered on the air? Email us now from AnthonyVincentSalon.com. Remember, for the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Call us now at 609-448-2212. You'll be glad you did. Sex burns off an average of about 100 calories per hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so then basically what you're saying is if you're having a really good sexy evening or sexy afternoon, you can burn about 300 or 400 calories.
I could. Some people burn 3 or 4 calories.
Oh, okay. So that's the vernacular, you?
Of course.
Okay, I'm just making sure there because that was quite personal.
Well, everything is the vernacular.
I know everything is the vernacular. And you know everything is vernacular. I just want to make sure everybody else knows everything is vernacular.
Well, I think we had a whole show about this, but during any given period, women who read romance novels have a tendency to have twice as many lovers and twice as much sex as those who don't.
Not only romance, but also erotica.
Ah, yeah.
And just so you know, in the next few weeks, we're going to be having an author come on our show. And
yes.
she writes erotica. I'm very excited about that.
And what a lovely young lady she is,
She
too.
absolutely is. I'm not going to give her name, just in case. But yeah, as we get closer, we'll start introducing her.
Absolutely. We absolutely will. And reading these romance and erotica novels, and having twice as many lovers and twice as much sex, there are things that women need from relationships and sex in order for them to consider it good sex.
Yes, that is true. One of those things that is very, very important is, when you're in this type of relationship, especially a very sexy relationship, very important to be able to orgasm. Very important. And we were talking about that in an earlier show, that sometimes it's difficult.
That's right.
And women have difficulties reaching orgasm.
They're focusing too much on the orgasm. Don't focus on the
And
orgasm.
they're focusing too
Focus
much
on having a good time.
They're focusing too much on themselves.
Yeah.
And if they would stop focusing on themselves and just
Pay a little more attention to me. I mean us. I mean men.
Oh, yeah. Focus on what you're doing as opposed to what you look like doing it. And that's really important.
Well said, like a pro.
Ah.
You are so professional.
Oh,
so
yeah.
professional.
Oh, yeah. What do you want, by the way? You've been awfully nice to me today.
I just want you to love me. That's
Yeah.
all I want from anybody. Anything. I don't need the fame, the fortune,
He
the
just wants to be
cars.
loved.
I just want to be loved. And why
Well, luckily-
can't you do that?
Luckily-
Why?
Luckily, no matter what you do, I still love you. No matter what you do. Yeah.
Well, you know
You know what?
that men and women's bodies are different.
Are they?
Yes, they are, in case you hadn't noticed.
Well, I did notice they have different shapes to them, but I didn't know they were definitely different. I know they're all made up of skin and blood
That's true.
and bones.
That's right. So you don't want to treat men and women the same. Like, men, for instance, having an orgasm is the finale, where women can have an orgasm at the beginning
Middle and end.
and still keep going and
Yes.
still keep going.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
some men, I guess it depends on the man, can do both.
Yeah.
I have to tell you something, though. I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and this is so funny. She was telling me that, this guy that she's with, and I couldn't believe this. She said this guy that she's with comes like 4 times while she's with him. And I just kind of looked at her kind of like confused, because I'm thinking, how much time are you together that you have time for him to be, having an orgasm 4 times? Like,
He's either 22 years old or he's faking it.
He's not
Or
22.
she's telling you a story.
He's not 22. I'm thinking it's maybe a story.
That's
I'm
what
not
I'm
sure.
thinking,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. She's also the girl that doesn't mess up her hair.
Well, he's faking it then. Because as you get older,
How does a
the
guy-
recovery time.
I know that, but how does a guy fake it? That's what I'd like to know. How does a guy fake it? Is that a possibility? Mike's going to answer this one.
No idea, and I don't know how. I don't know how a guy could fake it, to be honest.
Because
with you.
I know how a girl can fake it, but some guys would know. But I just do not understand how a guy could fake it.
I've never had to.
But I just...
I'm
the
still
thing
young
is-
though, so I can, that's a different story.
I just don't understand it, and I've been wrapping my head around this one because I can't imagine that it's a possibility that a guy could fake an orgasm, because it's not the same as a lady faking an orgasm.
Unless the lady's really not paying that much attention to him.
That's true too.
And that's how he could fake it.
I guess if you don't mess up your hair, I guess you're not paying that close attention. So I guess, alrighty then, that answered that.
Well, back to the orgasms.
Oh,
And the women and
a
guys
favorite subject of ours, obviously.
that can keep going. Yeah, we like orgasms, don't we?
And you were saying?
Well, when I talk about this story reminds me, this is a true story. A guy in the gym that I used to work out with, Marty. Marty, yeah, I'm talking about you. This is what he would used to say.
Oh boy.
This is what he tells his lady. I tell my lady this. I tell her.
Is that how he said it?
That's how he
Because-
talks it.
Oh, boy.
Because, he's talking in the gym, and he says, I tell him right up front, the first one's for me. The second one is for you.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Marty, thank you for that words of wisdom.
Yeah. I guess. Thank you, Marty.
The first one is for me. The second one's for you.
Oh, boy. I don't know. See, who would want to... Okay. I'm not saying anything.
Alrighty. Okay, getting back to the women who find it difficult to orgasm. Now, something you should know that men get a sense of pride from making women orgasm.
They do.
Right. And this is why so many women fake it.
Oh, they're just being sweet. If
They're
they can't
being
reach.
sweet.
Yeah, well, that's what we talked about. Sometimes you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But I think that's kind of nice that, the guy really wants the woman to feel good. I think that's really nice.
That's right. I think so too.
I think it should be that way.
So, guys.
And vice versa, of course.
Of course. Remove the worry from a woman's brain that she won't make you happy unless she orgasms. And she'll be free to be in the moment and to really purely enjoy herself. So guys don't, do a marathon to make her orgasm. Gals don't put such emphasis on the orgasm. Put the emphasis on having a good time, enjoying yourself.
I think that's really important with anything. Don't think too much about any of it, because you're going to create all kinds of crazy for yourself and you're not going to be able to just enjoy yourself. And the reality is that that's what it's all about. Enjoying yourself.
That's right. And being Italian, there are many things.
See, it's always about him.
That we enjoy.
It's
as
always
Italian
about him.
men.
We're trying to stay vernacular, but yet somehow, some way, it's always about him.
We like food.
I mean, I'm
We like to
Italian.
Yeah, you like to eat, right?
Oh,
All
I love
right,
to eat.
listen. I am not Italian and I love to eat. You can tell. You can tell.
I mean, I'm a mutt, but I am part Italian is in there.
And that should be the part that you embrace, my friends.
Oh boy.
So now we're all of some type of Italian vicissitude.
I do not have an Italian drop of anything inside me.
Okay.
But I completely understand it.
Well, so once again, the food. I like to think that sex for a man is a plated dinner with all of the accoutrements surrounding it.
Got it.
See, while sex for a woman is like a buffet. For men, there's the main event. But for women, there are so many more options.
Like what?
Okay. If you want to make a woman feel good, once again, don't focus on the orgasm. Focus on the pleasure.
Absolutely.
Kissing, touching, talking, caressing. These are the things that women love.
Absolutely. I agree.
We've said this so many times
Over and over
on this
and over.
show. And foreplay starts long before you get into the bedroom.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Foreplay, I mean, it can start at work that day with a little text or a phone call, because it's all about, remember, it starts between the ears. Yeah. The brain, when the brain starts to get excited, that's when the foreplay starts.
That's right. Well,
You can even be miles and miles and miles away from each other, and there's still the connection because it happens between the ears.
That's right. In the brain. My second favorite organ.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Let's tell them you're first.
No, I'm not talking about anything personal.
I wasn't talking about anything personal either.
I want to talk about truly mind-blowing sex.
Okay.
Alrighty?
You got it.
Just like you said, you need to start that long before you're in bed. It could start that morning. It could start the day before. Hold hands when you're walking. Kiss, hug hello, hug goodbye.
And say wonderful things to each other. Because again, when you hear it, you feel it.
Rub each other's feet while you're watching TV.
That's a nice one.
That's right. Send her a text, as you said, at the beginning of the day, telling her how sexy she looked when you left that morning.
And you know what's really a very, very nice thing to do? You can just, and I know most women love this, they don't even realize it's even happening, but just the touch with just one finger sliding down from her shoulder to her elbow. Just one finger.
That's all it takes, just
Yeah.
one. Tell her you can't wait to see her. You know, desire is really a self-fulfilling prophecy when you tell someone how you feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, understanding how men and women think and what they really need in a relationship, it really makes a difference in the way you're able to relate to one another.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Communicate with each other.
Oh, right. That's like the top prerequisite for being in a great relationship is to be your best self. And to do that, communication skills.
Absolutely. I mean, just say it like it is. Just come right out and tell him exactly what it is that you want, how you feel. You know, be direct. Just say it.
That's right. Okay, be direct. You're absolutely correct. You usually are, you know. The majority of problems in a relationships occur because the woman expects a man to meet her needs, and then she resents him when he doesn't.
And you know what? That goes both ways, because the man sometimes has expectations as well. I mean, women are not the only ones in the relationship that have expectations. Men do too.
That's right. But she doesn't ask for what she wants because he should just know. She may drop him hints and here and there.
Oh my God.
And then,
No.
then she becomes even more annoyed when he doesn't pick them up. The man in turn gets frustrated, and nothing he does seems to be good
calm
enough.
down.
Eventually, he gets discouraged and stops trying to.
Why are you
and
yelling?
even feels more resentful. Does this sound familiar, Elise?
Oh my gosh. He is like a lunatic right now.
Okay. All right. I'm
Are
calming down.
we better now?
Much.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we calm?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Now, Elise,
Yes, Anthony.
neither side has bad intentions. The problem is that they aren't communicating properly. And and the reason is because men and women have different styles of communication.
Mars and Venus.
Yes, yeah. Men don't pick up on those nuances and subtleties in the same way that
should.
women do. Yeah, they should, but they don't. Things need to be spelled out and be clear in a direct manner.
That is the reason why I said be direct.
Yes. So if
when
you're mad at me, women, if you're mad at him.
Listen, the vernacular me, when the vernacular me is angry at the vernacular you, don't you worry about a thing. I will make sure the vernacular me tells you exactly what is the problem. Okay? So don't you worry.
Okay.
And I give that advice to everybody out there. When the vernacular you is angry at the vernacular him or her, just make sure you're direct.
Okay, one last thing.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Don't act passive aggressive until he asks what's wrong. And you reply, nothing. And he'll take that to mean nothing is wrong. And you'll continue to simmer because he should freaking know that it's something.
Absolutely. But there is a time and a place for everything. So
just tell him what he did wrong.
Okay. Again, there is a time and a place for everything. So if there is an issue and you're working or you're doing something that doesn't give you the time to explain or to really have a conversation, don't do it because it's going to escalate. I just say that when you have anything going on, say very sweetly, I'm going to talk to you about this later. Right now, let's get this taken care of, or let's get this done, or I have a meeting that I'm going into, or I need to concentrate on whatever I'm doing right now, but I will discuss this with you later.
Elise,
Yes.
I was wrong. You were correct. In relationships, it's usually not what you say, it's how you say it.
Always how you say it.
So if you tell a guy something he is doing wrong or that's upsetting or hurting you, tell him in a loving, compassionate way. I guarantee he will try to fix it. I'm Anthony Vincent of Anthony Vincent Salon. Time for another fun and fabulous beauty tip with our tip chick. And here she is.
Got lips? Want that perfect pout? Find the hue that's right for you. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Shape, stain, and shimmer. Same shade. Say hello to beautiful.
Email us now from AnthonyVincentSalon.com. Remember, for the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Call us now at 609-448-2212. You'll be glad you did. Sperm.
Oh, yum.
What?
You know, remember? I don't know. We've been talking about sperm a lot lately.
Yes, we have.
Actually, one of our last shows, we were talking about
The cookbook.
sperm as the new superfood. So, it just seemed fitting when you said sperm. I said, oh, yum.
Yes,
It kind of worked.
I'm talking about a sperm bank.
Do you want to be a daddy?
No.
Then what do you need a sperm bank for?
Well, urologists are spending a lot of time talking about families and the future of their patients. Something called vasa differenta.
Vasa differenta.
Mm-hmm.
What a nice word that is.
Isn't it? It's vasectomy.
Oh, is that what it means?
Yes. And there's a bunch of guys that are getting divorced, and then they're remarrying, and they want to have their vasectomies reversed.
Is that successful, though, to have the reversal?
Oh, yeah. Most vasectomies are usually very successful in the reversal process.
Really?
Yeah, it's tying the tubes that you can't reverse, I believe.
Yeah. Well, no, you can untie. You can do
untie
that.
tubes?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's very successful, but I've
You
heard
have
of
to use
women
a
doing
slip
that. Isn't there a band called Slipknot?
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So reversal, vasectomy reversals. Okay.
Yes, and what's happening is, if you do have a vasectomy, it is 90% that you can reverse it. But if you want to protect your fatherhood options, what you want to do is you want to seek out a facility which offers sperm banking, and it's a couple of $100 to submit a sample, and you just pay a yearly storage fee.
Oh, so you have storage for sperm.
Yes, kind of like a one of those boxes at the bank.
A vault. We'll call it the sperm vault.
The sperm vault. I'm about to turn 40. And,
I love that.
and as you get a little older, guys have different issues. But I haven't experienced this yet, but I hear about it from a lot of our older clients, and that if you've been hitting the bathroom at night, like you get up in the middle of the night because you gotta go. You gotta go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? Try hitting the gym. During the day, because active men have a lower risk of nocturia. Nocturia is the urge to urinate many times a night.
Oh, yeah, that could really be very disruptive.
Yeah, yes, it could. Sleep disruptive.
Yeah.
And they have, minerals and berries and stuff for that. But a study in medicine and science in sports and exercise found that men who worked out are 13% less likely to suffer from nocturia than those who do no physical activity at all.
Well, no nocturia for you, right?
Now, no man will ever come right out and tell you he likes it when you compliment him, because that's a weird thing for a guy to ask for. And it's also not very manly.
I completely disagree.
Well, good for you.
I completely disagree with
And
that.
you're correct. You're correct. Because just because he doesn't ask for a compliment doesn't mean that he doesn't crave one.
The men that I surround myself with,
Oh, she's talking about me.
all of the men that I surround myself
She's
with.
talking about me.
See, he thinks everything's about him. But the truth is that the men that I do surround myself with all love compliments. And I make sure to compliment them because I think it's healthy. I think it's a healthy thing. And you should know when you look fantastic or when you're doing something right, because there's so many times that you're not. And I'm not saying this about you, Anthony. I'm talking about the vernacular you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many times that, you know, the woman will drag on the man, if you will, put the man down, say, you know, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right. But you know what? I think it's important to build you up. Say what you're doing well.
The vernacular you're talking about.
I just said that.
Okay, I'm
I
just
said it's the
making sure.
vernacular.
Just making sure.
Build you up, make you feel good, keep you feeling confident. Look, you know, you look great that day. I think it's important to say that. You know, I always get the compliment, you look beautiful today. You know, good morning, beautiful. You know, I think that it's important to share that.
You're right. And men, believe it or not, are very insecure about their physical appearance, and they don't get nearly as much validation as the ladies do. They don't.
Well, not the men in my life anyway, because the men in my life get plenty of validation.
Well, I know your husband is very buff. He's.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about I always make sure that I compliment my male friends, my husband, of course, my son, and I really feel that it's important to give that validation that you're looking fantastic.
You know, and that's right, because you know when it comes to guys and their physical appearance, for your you know, husbands, boyfriends, children, you're really the only source of compliments. So you should load them up. You know, if you think that shirt is sexy on him, you know, tell him.
You know what? I'm really happy that you're saying this because I do that all the time with everyone.
Good.
That's fantastic.
Well, of course, you're very unusual. You're very unusual.
I've never been called that. Unusual.
All righty.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
Do you ever tell him his hair looks sexy, all pushed back like that?
Who?
Talk about your son.
No, I actually don't tell my son that he looks sexy. I don't.
Oh, yeah, that would be kind of creepy, wouldn't it?
It would be. I've never actually even thought of the word sexy when I'm talking to my son.
Handsome.
I tell my son, I mean, I love his face, but his face looks just like mine. So I always tell him
So you tell him he's pretty?
No, I tell him he's handsome.
Oh.
Now, you see, now that was a compliment. Thank you. I tell my son he's handsome.
Oh.
You look very handsome today.
Okay.
You know, that kind of thing.
Well, do you know men have an overwhelming need to feel useful? To feel like they have something of value to offer?
Yes, I do know this.
Yeah. And it's true in all areas of life, but especially in relationships.
I do know this.
So I'm not talking about anyone in particular. I'm just talking about men in a relationship.
Yes, I know.
That, you know, they want to feel like they're adding to your life in a meaningful way, And, you know, you can help them feel this way by soliciting his advice and opinions, asking for his advice.
That's
asking
very
for his
interesting.
opinion.
That is something that's very important. And I always actually tell my girlfriends, because some of them are having some male issues, if you will. And I tell my girlfriends.
Well, they're bitches anyway. So.
Oh, stop. You know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, you know, instead of freaking out and creating a fight and creating all this drama, why don't you just sit down with him and say, hey, you know what? I need your advice about something. And start telling him the situation. Don't make it about him, but just tell him the situation. and see what he would do in this situation. Turn it around a little bit and get his opinion on it.
That's right, because, generally, men are very solution oriented and they thrive when there's something to be solved. And,
Exactly.
and I think this is a perfect example. And, that's why a man will typically try to solve your problems when you talk to him about something that's upsetting you, unless you're blaming him, and then they just shut down.
Well, yeah. And that's just it. Even if you're having an issue, I wouldn't necessarily turn around and say, well, look what you did. You're doing this. And why are you doing this way? That's the wrong way, because you're putting him up against the fence.
That's
and then
right.
he's going to turn around and walk away from you or start yelling at you.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what I would do is I would say, can we talk for a minute? Sit down. I just need a minute of your time, a couple of minutes, maybe 4, 7, something like that.
47.
4 or 7.
47.
Just a few minutes of your
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Anyway, I'm just kidding.
I'm not.
Just sit down and start having a conversation and say, I really could use your advice on this. And, he's going to give you
in a loving way. Of
exactly.
course.
You can even hold his hand while you're talking about this if he'll hold your hand, if you're not being mean, and just sit with him and ask his opinion. And
Well, he can squeeze it till the bones crunch.
why would he do that? He loves you. Why would he want to hurt you? I mean, I can't imagine that. But just ask for his help, for his advice, and this way, you guys can come up with a solution together. And I think that would really help.
Wow, that's really good.
I think so.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah? Got your tongue tied there?
No. When, ladies, when you are desiring your man, men love the feeling that they're irresistible. Flirt with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if you know him
I
really,
do it all
really
the
well.
time, even when I don't know you.
Yes, he is flirty. But even the thing is that it's okay to play.
That's right.
Role play.
Oh,
A
yeah.
little bit. Just play. There's nothing wrong with that. And this way, you add a little fire.
That's right. Initiate that, physical intimacy.
Exactly.
Yeah, a huge.
And it's fun.
It is. A huge turn on is for a guy is to see how turned on his woman is by him.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
And and I have to say this, men who want to make their co-hosts happy, although it's usually impossible.
Oh my gosh, that's not true.
This is actually one of the biggest driving forces for a man in a relationship is making the lady in his life happy. And the fact is that if a man doesn't think he could make a particular woman happy, he most likely won't want to continue the relationship with her.
I can understand that.
Now, I was only joking. I mean, it is difficult to make you happy. But
The
I try.
vernacular me? Or
Oh,
me?
yeah. In general, women in general, I'm talking
No,
about.
I don't. I disagree with that because it depends on the woman. There are some women that are bitter.
Pain
There
in
are
the butt.
some women that are angry.
Talk too much.
There are some women that you just cannot make happy no matter what you do.
That's right. Just don't listen.
And then there's somebody like me.
Drinks too much.
I am just happy that you're happy. I am just happy that you're breathing. I am just happy that you're smiling. I am just happy that the sun came out today. So I get happy no matter what.
I'm just happy you're not using drugs anymore.
I just can't believe you.
And that you're off the streets for that $2 crack score.
You are fantastic. You are fabulous. Yeah. The things that he says about me are unbelievable. Thank God he loves me. Could you imagine if he didn't?
Well,
Wow.
I support you and you support me in everything that we do. And I think it's tremendous that we do. And one of the greatest feelings to a man in a relationship is feeling like he has a woman in his corner, somebody who believes in him no matter what he sees for future shows or where. To see him for the great man and the amazing man that he is and or could be.
Yep. You see that? Somehow, some way, it always does become about him. Yep.
You know, most women don't.
Big man of steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most women don't realize the enormous impact that an approval has on their men. So, you know, if you're proud of him, it's a huge driving force. Tell him.
I am proud of you.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about me. I don't need that.
Oh, you're right. You just make me laugh.
That's what I was born for.
Yeah, you amuse me.
Like a clown, like, you know.
Yeah, like a clown. Exactly. Like you're here to amuse me.
You know.
And you do it well.
Thank you. You know, the number one thing that all men want but will never tell you is it's appreciation.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you there. And, you know, that's really, really super important because let's face it, it's a crazy world and we all work very hard and we all do everything we possibly can to bring a smile. Most of us do, to bring a smile on a loved one's face. Well, you know what? Men, like women, men also need that same connection and that same validation. It's very important that we let our men know that we appreciate them, that they're fabulous, we compliment them, we share with them. It's very important.
And, you know, Lisa, appreciation just isn't about what he does for you. It's about appreciating who he is. You know, showing appreciation for his good qualities, his values, his ambitions in his life choices.
I agree. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Of course, it goes both ways.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
But the truth is that, you know, men need that too.
Yeah. You know, find those things that you love about each other and show that you appreciate each other. You know, don't assume that you just know or he knows because he doesn't. Men are dumb.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, that's probably the most powerful and transformative relationship skill that anybody can ever master. You know, it is that important. You've been listening to Trend Radio, where we talk about what's hot every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Do you want more? Go right to our website, 920thejersey.com. Click on demand and scroll down directly to us.
And if you have a topic of interest that you want us to discuss, or you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us now at trendradio920@gmail.com. You'll be glad you did.
And remember, your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card.
But how you make people feel, well, that becomes your trademark.
I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise.
We'll talk to you next week.
Bye for now.